So what's it like to do business with Whole Foods Market? I'm going to tell you all about it here in this video. Thanks for tuning in today. It was so noisy around my house. I could not find a quiet spot. So I walked up my driveway and I am sitting on the back porch of my neighbor's house. Actually, no one's home here, so I just snuck up here. Actually, this is my youngest daughter, Ariel's house, and it's really great to have your daughter as your neighbor because you can come over here and sit on her back porch and borrow her stuff. Off topic right now, but I'll get back to the subject matter in a moment. Where would you like to see us pop up in Chicago? If you're watching from the Chicagoland area, or if you know someone who loves Achatz pies in the Chicago area, perhaps you buy them from Sunset Foods or Whole Foods or Plum Market in Chicago. We would love to come to Chicago, into your neighborhood, into your area. Tell us where. We can bring a lot of our cream pies and a lot of different flavors of our fruit pies. Everyone's favorite is the Michigan four-berry and the apple pies. Of course, we'll bring them, but we'd love for you there in Chicagoland to try our Cadillac pie and our cannoli pie and some of our other cream pies as well. Let me know in the comments below, or shoot us a message, reach out to us on our website. Let us know where you would like to see a Chicago Achatz pie pop up. So I'm back from my Austin trip with Whole Foods. So what is it like to do business with the likes of Whole Foods? I'm going to tell you, it is always a pleasure to go to meet with the buyers and the decision makers at Whole Foods. They're always so professional. Lately it just seems like they're getting younger and younger. Maybe I'm getting older and older. So a lot of the young people that I speak to are well-versed, and they've been in the food industry, they've been in the business for a while. And some of them don't have a whole lot of experience either. But this time we had a meeting at their test kitchen there in Austin. So they've got a lot of different offices and a lot of different spots that they have that you can meet. This happened to be in the test kitchen. I'm inserting a picture here. You can see Ellen, my sales rep, worked at Whole Foods for about 10 years. She was in a buyer position in the Mid-Atlantic region, and where I got to know Ellen before I did business with her in the Mid-Atlantic region, I wasn't here in the Midwest region. She was an assistant bakery coordinator, and got to work with Ellen for many years, got to know her very well, and we just love Ellen. What a smart move to hire somebody that was pre-Whole Foods, right? So she knows all about Whole Foods, she knows the ins and outs, she knows their pain points and where Achatz can best help them. So anyway, it was great. There's a photo of her. She was warming up some pies there in their test kitchen for the team to taste and and eat while we were discussing business. Did they taste? Did they eat? No, not one bite. So we had apple, cherry, blueberry, Michigan four-berry, mixed berry, different things. Nope, did all that work hauling those pies down there on the plane. So you never know what's going to happen at a meeting. Are they going to be wanting to taste pies? Well, they said, hey, we already know what your pie tastes like, and we got to get down to business. What we discussed that day was top secret. I am not at liberty to tell you what we discussed. But anyway, what I will tell you, if you are a small company or medium-sized company or a food manufacturer, you want to expand your business, right? You may be watching this video to understand how to expand your business. Whole Foods Market is a great company to work for. They really give attention to the small upstarts, to the small businesses here in the US. It is a pleasure to work with them. So they can keep it small, keep it local, just have you come into a couple of their stores, try it out. They want to make sure that you know your stuff. And I have talked about this kind of stuff in other videos about your licensing and your SQF certification and things like that. Certainly, their first concern is food safety for their clientele. When we first started doing business with Whole Foods 23 years ago, we were delivering fresh pies 3 days a week to all the Whole Food stores in Michigan. And within a year, they loved us, they trusted us. Then we started delivering into the Chicagoland area, driving out to Chicago. When you are doing business and you have a meeting, know who you're speaking with. I know Whole Foods very well. I know what their core values are. You know their tagline. If you were going into a meeting with someone whose tagline maybe is like everyday super low price, or we're chopping the prices down for you, it's like what's going to happen to you in that meeting. They're going to be all about price. Not to say that Whole Foods isn't concerned about price. We have certainly had a discussion on price with Whole Foods, of course. If we can get our price down more than what we've already quoted them, we need to go back. They've told us, go back and, put the paper to the pencil and figure it out. And there have been times where we were able to scale the quality, do things in a leaner, meaner way without killing ourselves, right? And is there an opportunity for you to make improvements in your kitchen? We worked with this one guy at Whole Foods, and I'll say his name, Gerard. And this guy helped us out a lot with our processes. He even traveled out to our factory. He's been out to our bakehouse, our pie shop, at least 3 times. We were doing a very special project for Gerard. He had tasked us with making these wonderful cinnamon crisps. He's from Belgium. They're very popular there. And he wanted to get them in his stores there in the Mid-Atlantic when he was in charge of that area. I sent him a video. He asked, send me a 60-second clip of you guys making these cinnamon crisps. So I did, and he laughed, and he said, that is ridiculous. Why are you touching and handling that? There's so much artisan product. It's very hands-on. But we were overdoing it, and of course he said, no, go back, cut your labor down, you are working way too hard. So we were able to figure out how to save some money and be able to make a profit on this product. So thanks, Gerard, for your insight and for your help. When I'm working with Whole Foods, they do not have chemical preservatives. They have a list of things that are not allowed in their store. And so before you try to contact a buyer, a decision maker, a deli coordinator, a bakery coordinator, first, why don't you do some research, go to their website, see if there is a list on their website. If not, contact information. There's like a 15 or 20 page list of all of these food chemicals that we here in the U.S. use. Now, who deems these chemicals safe to use? Probably the USDA or the FDA or somebody, but these are food preservatives. And why are they there? Why do we use these preservatives? And Whole Foods says, no, we don't like them, we don't want them, they're chemicals, not good, not healthy. Whole Foods is a health food store. They know their stuff. They are very up and aware on food allergens and GMOs and things like that. So I love working with Whole Foods. So another word about preservatives. We've talked about how to preserve food in a natural way, as far as canning or fermenting is big, drying, dehydrating food. And we've talked about that versus the chemical preservatives and how unhealthy many of us feel they are. And I'm sure there's some scientific proof that preserving with chemicals lock in nutrition, and nutrition has a hard time being absorbed by your body. So Whole Foods has, like I said, this 15-page list of what they consider unclean. And they consider a lot of these chemical preservatives, food colorings, additives, artificial flavors, artificial colors, right, as that's on their unclean list. So that's a great tool to have if you are considering making an all-natural product. Whole Foods has that. It's a great tool. There are some things that are considered natural but still have like a chemically sounding name, like ascorbic acid, citric acid, sodium chloride, right? Sodium chloride, I think that's like road salt, but it's salt, and that's what we found our apple processing plant. And as you know, we have a little 10-acre apple orchard that we started out on here in Armada, and we were growing our own apples, picking our own apples, peeling our own apples, And, that was like, we outgrew that pretty fast. So we had to recruit other orchards and recruit a processing plant here in Michigan that will peel and slice the apples for us. And then we receive them in 40-pound boxes. Well, when we first started doing that, our pies didn't quite taste the same. And we were like, what? Why is this? And we looked at the label on the box, and it said apples, but then the sub-ingredients under the apples, in the parentheses, in the very small type, said ingredients. Apples, sodium chloride or citric acid, absorbic acid. Aha, I found it. I found out why those apples, and the apple pies aren't tasting. They had kind of a metallic taste or whatever. And so we call up the apple processing company, and I believe I've talked about this before in another video, but I said I need that stuff left out of the apple slice. We don't want it on the apple slice. It tastes funky. It's weird. They said no, and they argued with me. They said, you need this on your apple slices. And we were always wondering why, when you bite an apple or, you peel an apple and you're eating apple slices, within 10-15 minutes, that apple starts to turn brown around the edges. It oxidizes. That's normal. That's a normal process. That means your food is breaking down and probably can be then, digested. And so I had to argue with the apple processing company to please leave those 3 ingredients off of the apples that they process for us. And they said, if we do this for you, you're gonna have to pay more. And your apple slices are gonna be all brown and I'm like, no, you put them in the freezer, they'll be just fine. Freezing is another way of preserving food. Cost a lot more. We have a 4-day shelf life on our baked pies, and that's what we guarantee. I've seen my competitors' pies with a expiration date for 3 weeks out. That's not what we're doing. There are plenty of other pie manufacturers out there that are using lower priced raw materials like apple slices with the preservatives on them. So what do you guys think? Are some of you who are watching owning a small deli or a bakery or a restaurant, you're looking to scale up, you're looking to pick up some wholesale accounts? Well, if so, let me know. You can feel free to go to my website, Kitchen to Commerce. Ask me anything. You've got questions. We, at one point, just had our one little shop in Armada. You know the story. We were selling at the local farmers markets. We had our one little store. At that point, we had started to pick up a few wholesale customers. We were driving in the Metro Detroit area, out there on the west side, selling. But of course, we weren't selling for our normal retail price. We were selling for at least a third less, at some point half price. So especially if that grocery store is getting a frozen product where they're having to finish it off, whether it's a baking process or a repackaging process, there's a lot more costs that they will incur on their end. So you have to really, really be sure that your costing is right. Even to this day, it's been 26 years, I still question Laura in my office, are you sure that's right? Now I'm in the sales department, so I'm always trying to see if she can get that cost down a little bit more, but I want to just make sure that we've got it right. We do have a CFO that a lot of times we run the costing and we test to make sure that we thought of everything, right? Everything from that 1 penny label to that 17-cent packaging, whether it's a box or a label or a sticker. Make sure that you have all of your costs in there. Then you've got to figure your freight and all of that goes into it. So guys, that would be my biggest piece of advice is, do you have your cost correct? You can hire a CFO. I tell you, our CFO is very part-time. We pay $200 an hour to make sure that we've got our numbers right. Good Lord, if you do land a wholesale account and you are going to sell tens of thousands of your product and you are losing 3 cents on every item, you're going nowhere quick, right? You're going to have to pull it off the shelves. You're going to have to go back to that decision maker who purchased your product from whatever store that you sold it at, and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I made a wrong call on that. I didn't give you the correct pricing. I forgot to add in this or that. It's costing me too much. Didn't realize that I was going to have to pay, your insurance or your vehicle or whatever it was." Then you got to go back and say, "I made a mistake, and you need to charge now 50 cents more per cake, or for your cookies or whatever you're selling." What's going to happen then? They're going to say, "No, we agreed on this price. If you don't want to uphold that price, we're pulling it from our shelf." And so, right after 6 months or so, customers have been tasting your product. They love your product. It's been on the shelf, and now they can't find it anymore. So it's not good. And either way or any way around it, it's just not a good thing. Make sure you have your costing correct. Hire counsel, hire a CFO, somebody who has experience costing. And that would be my advice for the day, guys. Make sure you've got your costing right. Stay in business. Don't go out of business. We want you here. You're doing something great. A lot of people are watching are just one shop, one mom and pop shop, and that's good too. You don't have to scale, you don't have to grow. If you want to, it can be a lot of fun, and you can make a lot of money that way. I'm hoping that you have subscribed to the channel. I'm hoping that you've hit the notification bell. You guys share this video with someone, especially the part where I'm asking your opinion on a location for a pop-up in Chicago. You guys, we're really excited about that. We're looking forward to doing a pop-up here pretty soon in Chicago, perhaps around Thanksgiving time. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, you guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.